welcome to Just in the Kitchen with me, your host, Justine. Today I am going to make Barm Brack, which is an Irish bread. They also call it Barm Brack or Barm Brack, but it's the way I know it is B-A-R-M Brack. Making this is I have some friends that I made newly. I had cooked for a funeral, a family that I know. They had a passing, so if you want to pray for them, that would be awesome. I'm sure that they and their family would highly appreciate it. And they were their roots were from Ireland. They were from Ireland. So when I went to make things, I thought, well, what can I make to make them feel at home, make them feel comforted? And so I came up with this Barm Brack. In my mind, I did not make up this recipe, but this is my version. So this is the Americanized version of Barm Brack, and it is from what I hear, in all the bakeries. This was a Halloween tradition. So they would make Barm Brack and they would stick things in it, kind of like King's bread. They would stick these little charms in it, and whoever got that whatever the charm was, like there was a piece of cloth, that meant you were going to be poor, so you didn't want the cloth. If you were a young married or unmarried lady, if you got a ring, that meant you were going to be married within the year. If you got a pea, it meant you were going to be married that year. So Halloween comes in October, you're going to have a quick marriage. So there were all these different things that signified different things. And it was now they don't do that, I guess, is what I had read. They don't do that, but it is still a tradition to have Barm Brack with milky tea, is how I read. Here's my recipe. We're going to start with the ingredients first. We have flour in here, and I also have salt. We have cold butter, sugar. In here we have nutmeg, cinnamon, and ginger. Here we have more sugar, which I'm going to put in the yeast. This is a yeast bread. Here's the yeast. Here's my tradition. I've added oranges. I'm going to put the zest and the juice of 2 oranges. This is a double recipe. So what I will put on the website will be the recipe for a single recipe, but it makes 2 loaves of bread. So I am making 4 loaves of bread. So if you see the recipe is different on the when I write it out, that's because it's doubled here. Here is vanilla, eggs beaten, and then we have, this is the milk. And here is what makes Barm Brack kind of different from maybe raisin bread. They called sultana, and sultana, they use sultanas and raisins and different things, but usually it's the sultana and the raisin. I've seen different ones. And they soak it in tea overnight. So what you're going to do is you're going to make really, really strong tea. So I used 4 tea bags, and I steeped it in water for a very long time. And then I added what I have here are blueberries, cranberries, and raisins. I don't know where to get sultanas. When I first saw that, and I'm like, a wife of a sultan goes in here? Did not make sense to me. But then when I looked it up, it was raisins, seedless raisins. So what I'm going to start first is my yeast. I'm going to add in the sugar, and then I will take up my yeast, and the sugar is in there so the yeast will start rising. You want to start mixing up the yeast in the water, and then what will happen is the yeast will start feeding on the sugar. It's alive. It's like that plant. Feed me, feed me. I don't know, what was the name of that? Little Shop of Horrors. It's like the plant in the Little Shop of Horrors. It's feed me, feed me. So I've stirred it up. There should be no clumps of yeast in there. You want to make sure the water is warm so your yeast will rise along with the sugar. Set that over there. I'm going to add the butter into the flour, and I like taking my pastry blender and cutting the butter in there. You want it like sand, with getting your butter incorporated into small little sand-like. You put in your sugar, put in your spices, and you stir it around. Make sure it gets all in there. And then, oh, it smells so good already. Just I got a whiff of the spices. Ooh, it smells good. Have all the spices. Now I'm going to add in the blueberries, cranberries, and raisins. No salt and spice for this. And this will keep it all the way through. This is a heavier bread. Not like American bread where it's all light. It's a heavier, more rustic bread when you get it. So it's very good the first day sliced and slather butter on it. But it is also good the next day. It's also good the next day with toasted in the oven and then bake some butter into it. Very, very good. Add my strawberry jam and you have a total winner. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to make a well. And all that means is that I have a hole in the center. Then I'm going to take my yeast. Ooh, look at the bubble. I'm going to add the vanilla. I will add the zest, the orange juice, and I'm going to beat the egg a little bit more. Add it all in. Stir it up. Ooh. And boy, is it like messy. It's all sticky. But what we're going to do is put it on a floured surface and we're going to knead it. And I'll show you that in a minute. This is, like I said, a yeast bread, so it's going to take some time. It is not, hey, it's done, I've mixed it and I can put it in the oven. You'll have to turn around and let it rise, then you're going to have to let it rise again. You're going to flour your hands. Make sure your hands are floured. Ooh. Not that you're not going to end up with gooey hands, but all floured. Want to knead it for about 10 minutes. See how that is like one smooth, not sticky. And ooh, look at the orange peel right there. So, and it also, it bounces back. That's what you want. What you're going to do is you're going to cover this with a dry towel and you're going to let it sit for an hour. Then we'll come back and I'll show you what to do again because you're going to have to let it set for another hour. So I'm going to cover this and I'll be right back. My dough has risen to twice its size. And what I'll start doing now is I'm going to start kneading. But first I'm going to do it in half. Now I have the pan up here, as you can see, I have it greased. You want to make sure it's greased well. There, we just want to get that dough looking like all one thing. Let me move this out of the way. You don't want it to stick. Knead it. See how it's much easier to knead this time than the last time. The yeast has taken effect. The glutens have done their thing. It's all a big old party and they're having a good old time. Now what I'm going to do, got my knife, I'm going to cut it in fours. And knead each one of those a little bit. I'll put the other ones aside, the other quarters, and just kind of, you want to make it so it's a nice little ball or round. as you can see, it's just like Play-Doh, a little bit. There you go. There is one round. I'm going to finish the other 3 rounds, and I will put them off to the side and let them rise till they're twice their size. And then we can bake. Here is my Barm Brack. Oh, it looks so pretty. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I am going to put this in the oven and let it bake for about a half an hour, maybe a little bit longer. And when we're done, I'll bring it back and see how good it looks. So they're all done, they're all out. What I like to do, oh, they look so lovely, is put butter on the top. This is not something that the bakeries do in Ireland, but I like to do it because it is so good. You're supposed to let bread cool, but I am not that patient. Look at that. Look how good that is. See the raisins? It's not just a little bit of raisins. There's a lot of raisins, cranberries, blueberries. Oh my gosh, that looks lovely. This is like over the top fruit bread. Better than any raisin bread I've ever had. You can taste all the spices in this, and then the tea gives it a little bit of a brown color. That's where that brown color comes from. Oh, it's so good. So make sure you try this. It is, look, I got 4 loaves. It didn't take any time at all. You can freeze them, you can give them as gifts. They're just lovely. And they beat anything I have ever had in the bakery. Remember, for the recipe and the measurements and everything, go to www.justinthekitchen.com. There will be a little tag down in the bottom that you can click to subscribe. Also, click on the bell. That will give you, when I get new videos up, it'll let you know. It'll notify you. If you don't do that, they'll only notify you every once in a while. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share. This is, remember, in my kitchen, every bite is a memory, and every memory is good. God bless. Have a great day.